KOGO News Time, 8:42.
All right, dating someone at work, it can be tricky at best. Many companies have tried to ban it, but that doesn't always work because, people. Now, Facebook, Google, and Airbnb have all laid out some new policies allowing employees to date with a caveat.
Mm-hmm.
A coworker can only ask out another equal level coworker, and they can only do it once.
What about 1.5?
No.
Joining us on the KOGO News Live line is attorney Amos Waranch. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so what is this only one time? Where did they come up with this, and why is only one time acceptable?
Good question. So under the Federal Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII allows people to sue over a hostile work environment for sexual harassment against an employer or former employer. And so what the employers are trying to do here is say, okay, we recognize the reality that people are going to date people. So our old rule of you can't date somebody else in the company just doesn't work, as you said in your lead-in. But what they're saying is we're going to define what you can do really closely and tightly so that if we get sued later for creating a hostile work environment, we could point to our rules, our really tight rules, saying you can only ask people out one time and that's only one of there's a multitude of really formal and granular rules that are being put forth that are essentially exist to protect the company's bottom line.
So let's talk about those. What are the do's and don'ts of, letting Cupid hit you with his fabulous arrow in your cubicle?
Well, different companies have different policies, and I want to be very, very clear to your listeners that what we're talking about, this one ask-out rule that is kind of in the news, and some of these other rules, like making sure you're not paying for your coworkers' lunches and things like that, are only specific to a few big companies who have recently put them out and are not part of federal law. But the basic rules are that you're not supposed to make unwanted physical contact with someone, that you're not supposed to repeatedly ask someone for sexual contact or romantic contact, and you're supposed to be very, very careful in kind of talking about potentially racy subjects or sexually charged subjects in the workplace, because that can lead to a feeling of a hostile work environment. And there's more rules, but that's kind of the most important one.
Well, and we talked about an equal level coworker. Should a boss ever be able to date a subordinate?
I mean, in the history of human civilization, it's happened more than once. I think that it's going to continue happening even after these big companies have made these rules. But, in those companies, the answer is no. Under federal law, the answer is not always no. It's maybe, depending on the circumstances.
Oh, that seems like really shaky legal ground if you are, a company and suddenly things go south in romance, which I know almost never happens, ever. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Almost.
Well, can I actually address that point very, very briefly, sir? I think that the point that you made is very interesting because it's a burden shifting. The companies are shifting the burden onto their employees. They've made the rules. Now you employees follow these perfectly. It's not like it was if in a company without such rules, where it's like the law is what applies and the company has to follow the rules. You see what I'm saying?
Got it. And on that, we're out of time. Almost Waranch, attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you for clearing that up for us. We do appreciate it.
I think he just showed why it is that I should never date ever. Ever again.
Yes.
I never will.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
done.